Hello everybody and welcome back to the Kingdom Hearts HD Dream Drop Distance playthrough. We're back with Riku and it's time for us to enjoy the delight that is Riku's version of Traverse Town Part 2. And actually I've realised that Riku and Sora got slightly different Keyblades from Prankster's Paradise. Sora's was very much more Ferris wheely inspired. Riku's is very much more water based. I like that. And I was thinking of that one when I was switching them over. Oh well. Anyway, we're all back and good. Let's go.
I was hoping one of you could help.
When did Sora get here?
Bravo, Riku. Why can't he be this quick on the uptake?
Yeah, well, Sora's a little...
Now, let's get down to the problem. We've got a nasty Dream Eater on our hands. It keeps jumping between worlds. Not only that, it knows how to summon creatures like it. Pretty powerful ones, too. The others are on a mission to stop it, but they need help.
The others? You mean Shiki and her friends?
That's right. They all found their game partners, and Shiki is over fighting in the other Traverse Town. In fact, Sora is helping them out.
Good to hear. So what can I do?
Actually, the Dream Eater just reappeared in the Fountain Plaza. I sent Beat and his partner to face it.
I'm on it.
Riku, there's something else you need to know. These two Traverse Towns separated by the portal. I was under the impression they were parallel worlds, but it looks like I was wrong.
Wrong how?
That's where it gets tricky. After you and Sora left, Shiki crossed the portal to join her game partner. Did you notice players have a mission timer inscribed on their hands? Well, when she got to the other side, Shiki had more time left on her clock than her partner. And when Beat's partner crossed over from the other side, she had less time left.
So time flows differently here and there? So what? That's true of any two worlds. Their homeworld would be running on a different time axis too.
Yes, I understand that. But if these Traverse Towns were parallel worlds, then time would flow the same in both. But it doesn't. Ergo, they are not parallel worlds.
You mean there's a past and a future?
No, impossible. The worlds are clearly separate. It's not just time that sets them apart. As you yourself noted, every world flows at its own pace, which tells me that for all their similarities, these are two distinct worlds.
Distinct worlds?
Yes, but this is all conjecture. It's like the same world imagined by two people. What does that tell you? That we're in...
The dream.
Yes. Bravo again, Riku. In which case, none of this may matter one bit to me or my friends. But to you and Sora, I think it might be a vital clue.
Right. Thanks. So you need me in the plaza?
Wow, I'm running out of bravos.
Be right back.
So yeah! There's the whole thing of, rather than being the two Traverse Towns being parallel worlds, they are now two different versions of a world, which means we're in a dream, which we sort of already knew. That's why it's called Dream Drop Distance. But the way in which they're all connected, that there might be something going on there, and right, so I think I'm missing one chest in an area I've already been to. My assumption is probably the 3rd district. So I will, I thought I would try and go that direction, but clearly that was not going to happen, so I'm going to have to go the long way round. And, I mean, as I said, it's actually a pretty dull trek for Riku, this particular world, because nothing really happens. He just sort of runs to the two areas he needs to, Fountain Plaza and then 3rd District, and then Bob's your uncle, that's it. Which is kind of sucky. It would have been nice if he'd had boss fights like Sora gets, but then equally I don't think I could have faced fighting the horrible menace that is Hocko Monkey, Wargoyle, and Shark Lobster again, one after the other. I think it might have driven me insane. So, yeah, it's good. Probably for the best that I avoided that. And now in my brain I'm going, where are things? How do I leave? Where am I going? It's because I completely forgot how I progressed through Traverse Town with Riku, and that is in part because it's just like, well, I know I don't go to the post office, but I can't actually remember what route I did take. I think I went via the back streets, but then I also feel like I can't have gone via the back streets because I've got loads of chests that I didn't pick up. And I know that I ended up in the 4th District and the 5th District. So then my brain's just going, what even is the world? It doesn't make any sense. And it just gets so confused. So, yeah, I'm probably going to spend a little bit of time faffing about. And you may notice that this part is also quite long. About as long as Sora's part. But in terms of, actually getting stuff done, it is a lot shorter. It's just that there's stuff like this occurring where I end up running about like a lunatic. And then go and check things and go, right, is this where I'm meant to be? I'm pretty sure this is where I'm meant to be, and this is where all of me missing chests are. All 10 of them. So I just need to make sure, right, let's make sure I'm correct. And then we can run forward. I do wonder why this perhaps wasn't there the first time we came to Traverse Town. Because I'm pretty sure that we do, or did, just completely skip through this entire area. I do not remember covering it. But, once again, as I have said in the past, my memory in terms of where everything is and goes can be pretty horrendous at times. I mean, like, I could have done one thing and my brain just goes, yeah, no, that never happened, and then it might have done. It's one of those things where you just go, should I be worried about that? Nah, probably maybe should be a little bit, but it's all good. Because this all just gives me much more chance to murder Dream Eaters, and I mean, who's going to say no to that? But I suppose while we are going through all of this, it's probably a good chance to go over some music trivia, I suppose. Because while Yoko Shimomura, I believe I mentioned it briefly at the beginning of the game, while Yoko Shimomura is the lead composer for the Kingdom Hearts series, Dream Drop Distance is, I don't know if this is the first, but it's certainly one of the first that featured songs composed by other people, namely Takaharu Ishimoto and Tsuyoshi Sekito. So, basically they split out all of the different bits of music, just to make it sort of, I suppose, easier as a project, which makes sense. So you can pretty much tell who does what in terms of the way the music all works. So the regular musical pieces, so obviously Dearly Beloved, Traversing Trance, Hand to Hand, Dream Eaters, The World of Dream Drops, Le Sanctuaire, Le Cloche, Sweet Spirits, and Ever After, they're all Shimomura. Ishimoto, he was the composer for The World Ends With You, so Twister, Calling, Someday are all Ishimoto. But then Ishimoto also did most of the Grid's music, so Access the Grid, Digital Domination, and Keyblade Cycle. And then you've got Tsuyoshi Sekito, who mostly did sort of the dive music and the Dream Eater music, so Storm Diver, Untamable, Majestic Wings, Wild Blue, Gigabyte, Mantis, Ice Hot Lobster, so basically all of the Dream Eater bosses, and the dives for Sekito's work. And it's nice that you have that sort of variety. I do quite appreciate that, to be honest.
Don't need them when I've got my game partner. And I don't need you!
Oh, here we go again. 5 seconds ago it was, "Where's Riku?" And now the act?
Whoa! Don't tell him that!
It's so nice to meet you. I'm Rhyme. Riku, right? Sorry, my partner's acting like a doofus.
I am not! You always gotta go around and garnish my reputation!
Since when? You burned that bridge all by yourself. Nobody raises his reputation by lowering others.
Yo, Riku! You gonna sit there and let her get in my grill?
Sorry, it's just... You two are cut from the same cloth.
I ain't made of cloth.
Beat looks and talks like a punk, but there's a heart of gold in there somewhere.
Yeah. He's come through for me, so I know what you mean.
There! See? I'm a... Rhyme! You didn't just call me a punk again!
Huh?
Alright, now we ruffled its feathers. Ready to do this?
Yeah! Me and Rhyme will handle things here.
You go after that thing.
Right!
Oh great, so it's just let's run back the way we came! Grand. So yeah, this is what I meant by Riku's version of Traverse Town Part 2. Surprisingly disappointing in comparison. It is nice to see Rhyme and Beat together, because that whole thing's just a really, really cute partnership. Although my brain, having now played The World Ends With You, is just like, Beat's fighting, where the hell is his skateboard? Because that's basically all he does in that game. He skateboards onto things and it's delightful. But, yeah! And actually, now that we're going back into the back streets, my brain appears to think, no, we did go through the back streets to get to the 4th district the first time. So clearly I was just completely forgetting the entire area. Which then does make me question where on earth all of those other chests are located. because that is a lot of chests. And while I am totally willing to enjoy things, like that's the type of thing where it's just like, no, I seriously need to just know where the hell they all are.
Quantity versus quality, huh?
And from the looks of things, it would appear that I actually know most of them were in 4th and 5th District and I just didn't explore properly. Oh well. But yeah, this is quite a fun fight. The whole idea is that sort of you're meant to block them when they charge you. And it's quite fun, but really I just thought, no, let's just link attack this whole thing and just murder them super quickly. And then balloon roll the hell out of it and just everything. Turned into a quite fun fight in the end. Like, if Spelican thought that this was going to be a huge challenge, seriously had another thing coming.
Riku, the 3rd District. We're going to pin it between both worlds.
Got it.
So yeah, I suppose once we are... It's going to be a case of once we're done with sending that Spelican all the way over to Sora's version of Traverse Town Part 2, we'll then go back and pick up all those missing chests, because... yeah, it would appear that they are mostly 4th District. Clearly I just sort of charged my way through that area and just decided to finish it off rather than actually exploring. Which, not the smartest move I have ever made, but hey, as I said, don't always make the smartest moves, even though I really should do at this point. That said, I do quite like the Ceraterras here, because it's a fun name to say, Ceraterra. Although why they went with that as the name, I don't know, because its Japanese name feels much more accurate, because it's Suno Kera Tokusu. So Suno Keratops, as in, you know, Triceratops, which is what it is. Although it would seem that the Ceraterra bit, or Ceraterra, comes from the Greek word for horn, which is keras, and terra. So it's horn terra, which is it's the same as the Japanese, because Suno means horn, and Triceratops is Triceratops, obviously. It's surprising how many kind of dinosaur-like Dream Eaters there are. I mean, I suppose it makes sense if you look at what most people dream about. A lot of dinosaurs, a lot of dragons as well, and also cute things. So it makes sense, I suppose.
I got you now. This is my street, yo.
You gotta play by the rules.
Oh no!
Hey!
Sora, you got this.
This is so tired, yo. Every time we chase him down.
I know, but we've got an ally on the other side. Don't worry.
Yeah, well, I still don't like it.
You know, you are such a good listener, Beat. You're like a sponge, really.
Me? I'm not a sponge. I'm just me.
You mean Daisuke Nojo Bito.
Hey! Don't use my full name!
That's a weird name.
Hey!
Well, it's time to go.
Hey, Riku. Thanks.
Yeah, stay cool. We'll catch up with you soon.
Mm-hmm. Say hi to Sora.
Sure.
Riku, remember what I say. Be careful. If this really is a dream, it's going to lie to you, to try and make you think it's real.
I got it.
What? I don't got it.
You and Sora would break your heads on this one.
Huh?
And there's Riku's own delightful version of the knockout punch. But since we have finished Traverse Town, we've got lots of cutscenage
all got a role to play,
as the
right?
standoff occurs.
Gosh, at least he's honest in a dishonest way.
Silence! No underling of mine shall be insulted so. I have great plans for dear Pete and for all the worlds, once I have taken them for my own.
Then I've got bad news for you. That day's never gonna come.
Perhaps you should take a few moments to reconsider. Or does the Queen's life mean nothing to you at all?
Mickey! Don't you listen to her! You can't let Maleficent have her way!
No! Minnie! All right, Maleficent. Tell us what you want.
Let me see. Shall I begin with this world? I much preferred it in its darker, more ominous permutation.
You said it. This place needs some lights out time.
You're lying, Maleficent. Not even you would go through this much trouble just for that. What is it you're really after?
Very perceptive. I presume you are familiar with Xehanort, the man who led me to discover worlds outside of my own.
You know him?
As do you, I see. Yes, he shared everything with me. How to go about winning a heart over to the darkness. And, most gloriously, about the 7 hearts of pure light, the ones that would grant me the power I need to conquer all worlds. However, the worlds were too complex, too much for even me to contain. It seemed I had miscalculated. Then it came to me. Of course, I could go about conquering other worlds in my own manner. You do have the data for all the worlds, do you not? And now you will hand it over to me.
What do you mean?
Don't you bozos pretend you don't remember. Me and Maleficent was trapped inside it. Now cough it up.
Why do you want the data?
I'm afraid that is no concern of yours.
Wouldn't want a royal Minnie Mousiness to get a boo-boo now, would we?
I see you have failed to recognize the futility of your situation. Very well. Face your doom!
Oh, Mickey!
Minnie! Maleficent, you lose!
Say, milady, I think the pipsqueak's right. We better hit the road.
I now know that what I seek lies within these walls. Trust that I will eliminate you in good time.
Hey, wait for me, Maleficent. Wait!
Hmm? You used the darkness to get here? That was reckless. But gosh, I didn't expect you to save us. Axel.
Axel didn't. My name is Lee. Got it memorized?
Hey! And also there was that nice little nod to Recoded and all the data world and the datascape and all that slightly crazy jazz, which now is even more important than it ever used to be, thanks to the delight that is Kingdom Hearts Key Union Cross, or Kingdom Hearts Union Cross. Or honestly, I have gotten a little bit lost in terms of where we're at with all the titles of things. Like I was on my lunch break today, I was talking someone through all of the titles, and yeah, it did kind of look at me a little bit gone out, and it was just like, yeah, so there's Kingdom Hearts 1, Kingdom Hearts Rechain of Memories, Kingdom Hearts 2, Kingdom Hearts 35802 Days, Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, Kingdom Hearts Recoded, all of which are packaged up in Kingdom Hearts 1.5 plus 2.5 HD Remix, and then you've got Kingdom Hearts HD Dream Drop Distance, Kingdom Hearts 0.2 Birth by Sleep, a Fragmentary Passage, and Kingdom Hearts Cross Back Cover, or Kingdom Hearts Key Back Cover, or whatever the hell you want to call it. All packaged up in Kingdom Hearts 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue, which I think has a HD in there somewhere, but honestly I can't remember where the bloody thing is anymore, so fun. And yeah, it was just like, this series has ridiculously convoluted names. I love it. They're brilliantly convoluted. And honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. But my word, they are so convoluted. It's unreal. It seriously makes me wonder exactly where we're gonna go after Kingdom Hearts 3. Because obviously, Tetsuya Nomura has said that the Kingdom Hearts franchise is going to continue after Kingdom Hearts 3. Kingdom Hearts 3 is just the end of the Xehanort saga, or the Seeker of Darkness saga, or whatever the heck you want to call it, which is delightful. I believe he has also said that whatever happens next will continue Sora's story, which part of me is happy about, but also part of me is just like, not sure quite how I feel about that, if only because I suppose it's mostly a whole thing with retaining actors. Like, I really would like it for them to be able to retain all their actors all the way through, unlike what seems to have slightly occurred. Not majorly, but slightly, with Kairi. That seems to have gotten quite messy as of late. Everyone else is fine, but Kairi, a bit more messy. But obviously, if they continue with Sora's story, then they're going to need to keep Haley Joel Osment on for freaking forever, and there's going to come a point where he is perhaps a bit too old to be playing a teenager, so unless they're going to age Sora up as appropriate, there is going to come a point where it's not going to quite work as well as it has done so far. But we'll see where we go from here. Obviously, once Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out, I do want them to take a nice longer break, because obviously we've been waiting a very long time for Kingdom Hearts 3, and clearly they've been putting a lot of hard work and love into the game, and the dev team behind it really do deserve to put their feet up and just bask in the hopeful love that comes pouring out once the game is done. well, it is done, but once the game is in the hands of players and the world at large. But once again, we will see exactly what turns out there. Undoubtedly, they might have a small holiday and then be back at it almost immediately with whatever the hell the next project is. But I think sort of once that's all done, it's the chance to sit back and just reflect on where they want to go next. Because I do feel that while I love the Kingdom Hearts formula, I really do, it's great, there's a reason that it is one of my favourite game franchises of all time, and that is in part down to the gameplay and just how fun it generally is to play. But obviously when you are starting off a whole new saga, while you want it to have the hallmarks of the series you've known and loved, the fact that outside of a few key bits, the gameplay loop of the Kingdom Hearts franchise hasn't necessarily majorly evolved over the course of that time frame. I mean, at the end of the day, while there are definitely upgrades, Kingdom Hearts 3's control scheme is not really all that different from Kingdom Hearts 2's. It just has a few extra wrinkles to it, and also it has the whole switching keyblade on the fly, which is a new thing, but I don't quite know where they go from there. That's going to be the challenge, and that's going to be the thing that I'm intrigued to see. But having that break to reflect should hopefully allow them to figure out what bits they want to carry forward, what bits they want to experiment with, because the start of a new narrative arc within a series is generally your best opportunity to start experimenting. Like, Shared Memories was a bad example of when to start experimenting. Like, the second game in your series that's on a completely different platform, that's not your time to be being experimental, because you don't know whether that's going to sort of completely tank you or prove to be more popular than the thing that you originally created. I mean, not exactly a prime example, but the Sonic franchise is a good example of when experimenting doesn't work out for you. Because obviously every few years they seem to just change loads of things about their gameplay styles, and a lot of the experiments don't work out. And while that is totally okay, like if you are doing anything and experimenting, you always run the risk of something working out or something not working out. That is just how it goes, and thank God all those treasure chests are collected. Oh my God, that makes me feel so good. So good. But yeah, so you're always going to run that risk. But there are times when you it's good for you to investigate and experiment, and there are times when that's not the case. Also, I don't know quite when I switched over to Esmeralda, but I did, and that's fine. We'll just make use of her for the time being, and it'll be delightful. But yeah, so it's one of those awkward things, and I just... With Sonic, when they got to Unleashed, that was sort of an experiment, and it was an experiment that, though not perfect, worked, and that's why everyone really liked it when they then went a bit further with that, with colours. They refined it. And then that's why everybody really liked the gameplay of Sonic Generations. For the most part, obviously there were a few people who were a little bit but generally everyone really liked the gameplay of Sonic Generations, and it was because they'd iterated. Rather than going off-the-wall experimentation, they iterated on the idea of what they already had. And I would argue that sort of Sonic Unleashed to Generations has been the most successful that Sonic has been in terms of consistently good video games for the past kind of, well, really since the 2D games. Even though obviously personally I don't have that connection to the 2D games, but in terms of general quality and perception of quality, that's basically what you're dealing with. And I mean, with the Kingdom Hearts franchise, they have pretty much generally iterated, because apart from Chain of Memories, all of the other games have iterated on the gameplay style. So the only differences were the other portable titles. So obviously 358 over 2 days tried to put the gameplay system of the PS2 title onto DS hardware. Obviously there had to be some changes made to that to get it to work, but they found what they thought to be a solution. Then come Birth by Sleep, they found a better solution, or what they thought was a better solution, tried it out, and it worked. The core gameplay loop was still the same, but just how you fought was slightly different. And that worked, and then they iterated on it. So Recoded took that command style system, tried to update it a little bit more, and then Dream Drop Distance took it and tried to update it a little bit more. And while perhaps some of the changes that were made in other elements were not quite so great, like I think everyone really does miss the command melding of Birth by Sleep. That was a really fun element and really quite successful because you could get really powerful attacks somewhat early on, I suppose, and that was quite satisfying to achieve. Also, I really liked that way of unlocking abilities and then getting to keep them by levelling up the commands. That was a really satisfying system. I would argue much more so than what Dream Drop Distance comes up with attaching those abilities to the Dream Eaters, and also attaching unlocking moves to the Dream Eaters. So, in general, I do much prefer Birth by Sleep's method of certain bits and bobs. But I do think that I like that whole iteration, and I think it's great. So, obviously, I'm just now still faffing about, going through, seeing what I can create, what I want to create. In parts, sometimes hoping for a good thing, in parts, other times not. And, as I said before, starting from the next world or so, pretty sure the next world, I am going to be cutting down these bits quite a lot, because obviously they can take up a huge chunk of time. I mean, we've basically spent, what, the last 6 minutes or so going through Dream Eater crafting, and I have lost a wee bit of patience on that, so just gonna ignore it. And that's all fun. But before we completely round off the wonderfulness that is Traverse Town Part 2 with Riku, I am just going to kill off a few more enemies. What I was trying to do is I was trying to get the hit/kill 5 enemies, I think it's hit 5 enemies with a sting shot reality shift in Traverse Town. Unfortunately, I didn't pull it off. I nearly pulled it off there, I think, because there were 5 enemies and I did nearly hit all of them. I just clearly missed one Jesterbocki. I would have liked that to have, you know, gotten that, because I would have liked to have had all the reality shift trophies, because that would be nice, but ultimately that didn't end up happening. But, oh well. So, let's head on back to the world map. and see what awaits us, because the second circle of worlds has arrived. Only 2 in this one, surprisingly enough. We've got the Country of Musketeers and Symphony of Sorcery, and they are going to be delightful. Unfortunately, we have to go through one of them with Knockout Punch as a Keyblade, which, while definitely the best Keyblade that we have at present, it just looks so garish. It's about as well. It's as garish as the Dream Eaters. That's the whole point. It's basically Hoko Monkey's fist, but it's, oh boy. And I unlocked a Defender. Thank you very much. That was on my very wonderful Quasimodo the Escargot. This is where I always get confused with which abilities unlock depending on what Dream Eaters you have out. Because I thought that Defender was one of the ones that, you know, opened up and stayed, but it would very much appear that that is not the case. It's that whole thing of sometimes when you shift out Dream Eaters, the abilities don't retain. So, yeah, I just got so incredibly confused at this point. But I believe that anything that falls under stats is entirely dependent on what Dream Eaters you have at the time. Anything that support, once you've unlocked it, it remains. Same for spirits. So that's where I think I was getting confused, but yeah, it's just kind of ridiculous, actually, if you ask me. Just let me upgrade everything and just retain all the abilities. That's the way to go. But it's time to drop, and next time we begin the Country of Musketeers, or Country of the Musketeers. I don't even know anymore. Let's go.